Some people are going to do just fine, but I think the majority are going to be in for a big wake-up call. I think the economy can't sustain. I mean, worldwide, everybody's very tied together. There's a lot of money games going on. You know, Russia and China are getting together to kind of devalue the US dollar. So there's a lot of money games going on. There's stuff going on with Iran. There's stuff going on with oil. But the economy in the US right now is a mess. The economy in most major countries is in a really bad shape. And at some point, it's got to give. And when it gives, I don't know what that looks like when it gives. When it gives, do the banks all shut down? People don't have access to money? Do products stop becoming available? I don't know if it's a financial collapse, but it's going to be a big financial correction, more than a correction. And I think a lot of people who have nothing are going to be in dire straits. Unfortunately, I can see civil unrest. You know, this is one of the reasons we speak out as much as we do. It's like there are things you can do to prepare if this were to happen. And maybe there's a technology, something's going to come along. I am the eternal optimist, so for me to talk this way is very different. Maybe there's a technology that's going to come along that's going to change things, that's going to somehow turn it around. I always have that optimistic viewpoint. But, people right now, I mean, we have gold and silver, because if the banks shut down, we can trade gold and silver for goods and services. That's one little thing you can do. That's why we buy real estate. Real estate is outside the banks, right? So there's things people can do to prepare. I think most people think, oh, it's going to be okay. The government will take care of us. Oh, everything, they'll fix it. I think they all think it'll be fixed. They'll fix it. Well, right now they're just kicking the can down the road. They know it's all broken. They know most countries are bankrupt. People have a sense that something's wrong, but many of them, if they're not educated, they don't know what's wrong. Unfortunately, I think there's going to be a real awakening happening, and for a lot of people, they're going to struggle.
And it could make 2008 look tame.
Right. Very tame.
Right.
Very tame. And we talk, because we have the Rich Dad radio show, we talk to a lot of top economists. We talk to a lot of top investment people who travel the world, who see what's going on in all these different countries, and they don't have an optimistic picture. So I think right now the best thing you can do is there are things you can start preparing. Just buy gold or silver. Buy silver. That's one thing you can do. Look at real estate. Look at real assets. I have a friend who's buying wood. He's buying a tree farm because you're going to need wood. Right? There's all sorts of things. Think about what people are going to need if the bank shut down, and what can you deliver that's needed.
When you talk about a revolution, do you see that happening like US or global, or what does that look like for you?
Well, I'm a US Marine. I fought in Vietnam twice as a pilot. I've seen what happens when the communists, what people can see it in the Ukraine, communists always kill civilians. And that's what people don't realize. And as a Marine, they sent kids and women after us. And you can see it in the Ukraine today. Russia's not hitting military targets. They're hitting civilian targets. But what Marx said, they had to have the poor get poor and the middle class come down. And that was the recipe for revolution. Communism would come in two stages to America. First would be socialism, and that happened in 1930, when the Frankfurt School of Germany sent teachers to Columbia University, Teachers College. And then in 1968, when I was in school in New York, that's when the rioting in the college campuses began. That led to Kent State and Berkeley and Woodstock and all this. And then the second stage would take place, and in my opinion, it's in this humble opinion, in 2020, when they took down President Trump. That was the corruption of our media. Mao killed his own people. Stalin killed their own people. Americans try and stop that from happening. And then our own press. I came back from Vietnam in 1973. I got spit on, hit by eggs, called a baby killer. As we all know, America produces nothing anymore. We produce bubbles. We just blow air bubbles. So we now have this bubble in real estate and stocks and bonds, and then when Biden took the Keystone pipeline, XL pipeline off, just wiped us out here. Inflation goes up, and the average American doesn't have $1,000. 40% of Americans don't have $1,000. And so when inflation goes up, we're going to wipe out 50% of the US population. And that is when revolution starts. If and when, and it will come down, the stock market crashes, the 401k, the old guys like me, are toast. You know, we don't have a retirement. Our pensions are bust. So what we have with three things is our treasury is out of control. We've lost it. Our entitlement's out of control. And now we're at war in the Defense Department. So our debt to GDP is out. So every time I talk to Danielle, I said, I wish I could have some good news. As we all know, there's insiders to every deal. I don't have any stocks. You know, I don't invest in the stock market. But they're my companies on the stock market. We've got to know what's real today. And that's what I'm saying. We have the weak leadership in world history. America's in serious trouble.